The most damaging thing in the life of a child is the unlived life of the parent. CarlJung.
Most people believe their lives belong to them. They think their choices are theirs, their fears are theirs, and their path is a product of their own will. But if you sit in silence long enough and look at the reflection in the mirror, you start to see shadows that don't belong to you. We are all, in a sense, haunted, not by ghosts of the dead, but by the hollow spaces left behind by those who raised us. Think about the parent who never pursued their dream, the one who stayed in a job they hated, the one who settled for a life of quiet resentment instead of taking the risk of failing. That unlived life doesn't just disappear. It's not gone. It is a psychological vacuum that demands to be filled. And as a child, you were the only one there to fill it. You didn't just inherit their eyes or their smile. You inherited their boundaries. You learned where the safe zone is. And more importantly, you learned where the danger zone begins. Responsibility in your mind isn't a tool for freedom. It's a threat. Because for your parents, responsibility was the weight that stopped them. It was the reason they couldn't leave, couldn't try, couldn't become. So, when life asks you to step up, to take a risk, to own your future, your entire body reacts as if it's an attack. You aren't just afraid of failing. You are afraid of the weight that crushed them. You are carrying the accumulated hesitation of generations. Every time you delay a decision, you are reliving their silence. Every time you say tomorrow, you are echoing their retreat. You are living in a psychological prison where the bars were forged by people who were too afraid to walk through the open door. And the most terrifying part, you've started to find comfort in these bars. You've mistaken the static hum of avoidance for the peace of safety. But beneath that peace is a slow-growing rut. You tell yourself you're waiting for clarity, for the perfect alignment of stars. But in truth, you are just waiting for a version of yourself that doesn't feel the ghost of your father's regret or your mother's unfulfilled longing. You're waiting for a self that doesn't exist yet, because that self can only be born through action.
No tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell. CarlJung.
To the modern mind, responsibility sounds like a chore. It sounds like taxes, like bills, like being boring. But in the ancient architecture of the soul, responsibility was the only path to the sacred, because responsibility requires the death of the eternal child. Jung called this the puer aeternus, the boy who refuses to grow up, the one who wants the crown but refuses the weight of the sword. The poor lives in a world of pure potential. He is a genius in his own mind because he has never tried, and therefore he has never failed. He is the ultimate lover because he has never committed, and therefore he has never been rejected. He's infinite because he is nothing, but potential is a parasite. It eats your life while promising you a future that never comes. To become something real, you must be willing to go down into the hell of your own limitations. You must face the cold, hard fact that you are not infinite. You are finite. You are small. You are mortal. And your time is leaking away every second you spend preparing. Taking responsibility is the act of planting your roots in the dirt of reality. It is messy, it is heavy, and it is painful. To reach for the heaven of self-actualization, you must first be willing to endure the hell of being seen exactly as you are, flawed, inexperienced, and capable of huge mistakes. Why does this feel like death? Because it is. It is the death of the fantasy. When you choose a career, you kill all the other versions of you that could have been something else. When you choose a partner, you kill the possibility of every other romance. Responsibility is a series of small murders of your idealized selves. We run from it because we want to keep every door open. We want to believe we have forever. But a life with every door open is just a hallway. You aren't living, you're just passing through. You belong nowhere because you refuse to pay the price of admission to somewhere. And that price is your pride. Your pride tells you that you are too good for the struggle, too special for the mundane weight of duty. But without that weight, you have no gravity. You are just a ghost haunting your own story.
He who avoids the necessity of choice lives a life of mere chance. Kierkegaard.
We live in a culture that worships freedom, but we've forgotten what freedom actually is. We've confused freedom with the absence of commitment. We think that by avoiding choice, we are staying free. But the philosopher Kierkegaard knew better. He understood that the man who refuses to choose doesn't escape the world. He becomes a victim of it. When you don't choose, you aren't more free. You are just more random. You become a leaf in the wind of other people's agendas. You work jobs you didn't choose, you live in cities you didn't pick, and you settle for relationships that just happen to you. Your mind will protect you from this realization. It will build elaborate cathedrals of rationalization. It will tell you that you are keeping your options open, that you are waiting for the right opportunity. But look closer at your life. Is it growing, or is it just shifting? A life without conscious responsibility is a life of drift. And the tragedy is that drift feels like movement. You feel busy, you feel tired, you feel occupied, but you aren't going anywhere. You are just being pushed. This is the comfort trap. Avoiding responsibility is the most comfortable way to fail. You never have to face the humiliation of a bad choice because you never made one. You never have to face the pain of a lost dream because you never truly chased it. You stay in the space of "I could have," and you use that as a shield against the people who actually did. But that shield is a coffin. The longer you stay there, the more the world outside becomes a threat. You start to resent the successful, the committed, those who carry weight. You call them lucky or sold out to protect your own ego. You are like a man standing on the shore of a vast ocean, refusing to get on a boat because boats can sink. And while you stand there in your safety, the tide is slowly coming in, and the shore is disappearing beneath your feet.
The soul is not healed by being patched and repaired. It must be burned and forged anew. CarlJung.
You cannot fix the version of yourself that is afraid of life. You cannot talk yourself into being brave while you are still clinging to the shores of your comfort zone. That version of you has to burn. And that is what responsibility is. It is the fire. It is the heat that turns iron into steel. It is the pressure that turns carbon into diamond. You don't take responsibility because you are strong. You become strong because you took responsibility. It is a transformational forge. Think about the most meaningful moments of your life. Were they the moments when you were comfortable? When you had no obligations? When you were totally free of weight? Or were they the moments when you were needed? When someone relied on you? When you stood up for something that mattered and accepted the consequences of your stance? Meaning is not something you find. It is something you produce when you collide with the resistances of the world. The weight you are running from is actually the only thing that can stabilize you. Without the weight of responsibility, your soul is like a kite without a string. You might feel like you're soaring, but you are just at the mercy of the wind, and eventually you will crash. To take responsibility is to grab the string. It is to claim your ground. It is to say, "This is my life. These are my choices. These are my mistakes, and I will carry them." The fear you feel right now is the threshold. It is the guardian of the door. It tells you that if you step through, your old life will die. And it's right. It will. The lazy, fearful, uncommitted version of you will no longer have a place to hide. But in its place, someone real will stand. Someone who doesn't just have potential, but has character. Someone who doesn't just have dreams, but has a history. Stop waiting for the fear to leave. It is a permanent resident of the path to growth. Instead, ask yourself, if you don't choose to walk through that door today, where will you be in 10 years? You will still be in this hallway, but the hallway will be darker and the doors will be fewer. Write in the comments right now, what is the one responsibility you have been treating like a death sentence? What are you running from? Own it. Name it. Start the fire. This is Perpetual Echoes. Subscribe to this channel if you're ready to stop haunting your own life and start living it. We don't just explore the mind. We dismantle the illusions that keep you small. Don't let your potential become your tombstone. Take the weight. Forge the soul. See you in the next deep dive.